Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another proficiency guide. This is about carpentry. So, you want to level up your carpentry skills because you want to craft staffs, scepters, bows, those types of things. But you're wondering kind of how. You don't see anything in here that is easy to craft or easy to make. Well, first of all, the fastest and most efficient way to actually do this is to craft the scepters and get them to roughly around the level 24 one. So you craft like 10 of these guys, 10 to 15 of them. That raises your proficiency up to 1,000. So then you can go and craft those 10 that you made, turn them into craftsman meadow scepters, and then this is where you stop. And again, just like in the weaponry proficiency, you're gonna sell all these guys on the auction house. Typically, most auction houses have the scepters roughly like the level 24 scepters roughly around the price that it costs to create them. And then if you do get lucky and you get a blue proc, which is the rare version, you can actually sell that for 20 to 30 gold depending on your server and depending on the demand and what's out there. So make sure you do not undersell your blue ones. Your blue ones you're going to get about 1 in every 10 crafts, so that right there will make you a good amount of money. So if you do this for 10 to 15 times, you're going to add both of the labor costs up. That's 100 labor, that's 150 labor, 250 labor times 10. You're looking at like roughly 3,500 labor points, which means 3,500 proficiency points in your carpentry skill level. So that's great. But if your economy on the server has crashed and you can't really make any money or kind of break even on the scepters, there's another way that you could potentially make money. This was a very profitable thing in the beginning of the game, and it's something that people don't know. It actually has to do with the logs and the lumber. Anytime you make logs into lumber over here, this is actually going to raise your proficiency in carpentry. And I know that may be mind-blowing to some people because there is a proficiency that says logging. So you see we have logging right there. So you would think that turning the logs into lumber would make it, your logging proficiency going up. But no, this actually works on your carpentry proficiency. So converting logs into lumber is a great way to raise your carpentry proficiency. And again, it is profitable most servers. It probably will die down once the video hits and more people start to realize you can actually make money on it. The way you make money on it, though, is by selling in small bunches. So you craft a bajillion logs into a lumber, and so you have like 500 lumber. You do not want to put them on the auction house in a stack of 100. We'll go and show you that in just a second. We're going to craft up these guys. You can see our carpentry proficiency is going up 5 at a time. So it is pretty slow and steady, but you can find a lot of logs out there, and you can just set your character to AFK crafting these guys, and it won't cost you that much because the logs are typically ranging between like 3 to like 5 or 6 silver now on most servers. Again, they do vary auction house to auction house, but yeah, so the logs aren't going to be that expensive, which means you're not going to have to invest that much money. If you were going and doing the scepters and staff way, you're going to have to invest quite a bit of money in this, especially if you're doing like 10 at a time. So 10 at a time, that is 50 archeum dust. Those guys are roughly around 50 to 75 silver each. So that's like 35 gold right there. Plus you have to invest into the lumber, and then you have to invest in these guys as well. So you're looking at, like maybe 50 gold just to do these right here. And then you have to craft it up again, and you're looking at another probably 75 gold to craft this one. So to craft like 10 of these guys, you're looking at 125 gold investment. And then, you're going to sell them and you're getting most of the money back. If you get a blue proc, you're going to probably make money on the deal. But yeah, so if you're doing it one at a time, it's not really going to work that well. You do need to get to at least 1,000 before you can start making the level 24 scepters. And again, each server may be different, so maybe you'll be able to do this on staffs. Staffs and bows also have the same exact materials needed. So just check the auction house and see which one has, a limited supply on there. Typically in the quest rewards, people grab the bow. And so they grab the bow, and then the other quest reward, they typically grab either the sword or the staff, because it's broken up. The one quest reward has the bow, the shield, the club now, and I believe the loot. So those are the 4 things that the quest thing has. The other one has the sword, the knowledge, and then the staff, if I recall correctly. So, you can't get all the weapons and armor that you want, and a lot of people want to use scepters and shields. So you can't actually get a scepter from the quest reward, so that's why these guys sell fairly well. Again, as more people do this, the prices are going to drop and it's going to tank. Just remember, do not undersell your blue one. When you do craft a rare one, do not undersell it. Those things are valuable. People love them because that's one step closer to, a unique or celestial status item. It is very rare, so do not undercraft those. So you can see why we're talking here, discussing this. We've already jumped up to 170 carpentry, and that is just from the logs and the lumber. We're going to go take a look now at how you can actually profit off of the logs and lumber. Well, real quick, there's one more thing that is actually almost profitable, I would say, on most servers right now, and that's crafting this bamboo fishing pole. And the reason it's profitable is because bamboo stalks and fabric are really, really cheap on the auction house, and to make any fishing rods, you actually need this guy. So you need this guy to make the wrapped bamboo fishing pole. Maybe not any, but just it looks like the wrapped bamboo fishing pole, which is the very basic one that you have to start off fishing, because this is the very first one, so there's a starter one. People don't like to craft a lot, and then they don't want to gather the materials, so you can actually make a profit gathering this and crafting them and selling them on the auction house. But the downside to this is it's a very small market. Excuse me. So it's a very small market, so you're not going to be able to craft 10 or 15 of these guys and then sell those 10 or 15 bamboo fishing pole rods. You're going to be able to probably craft like 5 and then sell a couple of them. It's going to be a slow sell too, even if you undercut, even if you are the lowest one on there. Because, if someone's smart, they're just going to go make it themselves, and it's going to be cheaper. Granted, they lose a little bit of time, but still, yeah, it's going to be cheaper, and it's going to be way more efficient for them to just do it themselves. It's not that hard. It's, go get 10 bamboo and 2 fabric. But yeah, you can make money off of that on most servers right now. And again, that will also help raise your proficiency by 10 points. So here we go. We're going to look at the logs first. So you get a gauge of the log prices. The log prices is roughly 5 silver and 5 copper or so. And then we have one guy here which is 2 silver, who's trying to manipulate the market, trying to get cheaper log prices up there. So we'll look at the lumber. Remember, it takes 3 logs to make 1 lumber. So you may be looking at that and be like, you can't make any money. 5 times 3 is 15. Well, remember what I told you is you have to throw these up in small bunches. So, of course, if you throw them up in stacks of 100, you're not going to make any money. You're going to lose money on the transaction thanks to the 10% auction house fee. Going down, you can see we have a guy here who is at 50, which is smarter. He's going to move his things quicker, but still 50, he's not making any money. So we're keep going up. We're looking, and we do not see any small bunches of lumber on the auction house at all. So this is the smallest bunch of lumber that we find, and look, it's 24 silver. And the thing is, it's a 6-hour time, so that means the guy just put it on. He just literally put this stuff on. And you know what that means? That means that these things actually do sell, because if it was like this one has been on there for a while, because he either put it at a 12-hour or 18-hour, and you can see the timer has moved down. The smaller bunches, they do sell fairly quickly. So we're going to go ahead and throw it up here. We're not going to throw it at 24 because that's being a little bit too greedy. And you can see here's one right here who hasn't sold. He has it at 25, so that's a bad sign right there. So we're going to go ahead and put it at, 21 or 20. And that right there would be a profit. So we're going to shift, left click. We're going to go ahead and bunch them down into 10, since we only have a small group of lumber right now. And we'll just keep that one at 15. So we're going to jump the unit price up to 20.50. and we'll put this over here at 3, and we'll do 6 hours. And so you'll notice that things, they'll sell because people will be buying the lumber stacks that are odd numbers, or maybe they're crafting staffs or scepters, and they just want a small amount of lumber. And plus, people don't always have 24 gold just to throw away on lumber, so they need a cheaper alternative to just buy bits and pieces here and there. And then, of course, people are going to go and chop down trees and convert logs into lumber themselves. So maybe they just need a final 10 or 5 lumber to finish off their trade pack. So they don't want the whole 100, and that's why these things are more expensive. So you're going to see our listings are right there. No one else has any small bunches of lumber right there. And I guarantee you within 4 or 5 hours, probably a lot quicker, these things are going to sell. So you can see we converted the logs into lumber. That cost us roughly around 15 gold or 15 silver to do that. We're going to sell the logs for 20 silver. So even after the 10% auction house fee, we're going to make 3 silver on that transaction. And that is almost a given. I have done this for weeks now on my main server. This is the European server, so the prices may look a little funky. But yeah, I've done this for weeks on my main server and have made money on it. I have a carpentry up to level 42,000 right now, and that was pretty much all based on just buying logs, converting them, and then selling the lumber and rinse and recycling. And I have actually made a good amount of money doing that. So there it is, carpentry in a nutshell. The logs and the lumber, maybe a little bit secretive for some people, but it should be fairly obvious. You can make money. You just got to smell them in small bunches, and then the staffs. That is a nice way if you want to just power level and just rush right through it. You don't really care about the money because eventually you will saturate the market and you will not be able to sell those staffs for enough to cover the material costs. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. I will get the short and sweet version out too, so if this is a little bit too long for people, then just wait around.